Hello, and welcome to another edition of Am I Doing This Right? Today we will be going over the ins and outs of the roll up. I'll be breaking it down into its separate parts, ways to make it harder, ways to make it easier, and everything in between. So let's get started. Hello, I'm Ian from Clarity Pilates. You can start by lying down flat on your mat. At its most basic level, the roll-up is exactly as the name implies. You're going to roll up and over towards your feet, and then you're going to roll back down, keeping the stomach engaged. Sounds simple, right? Unfortunately, as with Pilates, it isn't always that easy. Some of the most common challenge points in this exercise are getting stuck halfway up, the feet flying up with you as you try and roll up and over, or as you roll back, collapsing down in the final moments. The best way to get started in improving your roll up is with an exercise called the roll back. You're going to start by sitting up, your feet planted in parallel position in front of you, holding behind your thighs, chin gently tucked into the chest, pull the stomach in. You're just going to start rounding your back in space. And then you're going to pull yourself back up with the help of your arms. Rounding back, straighten your arms a little bit more, and then coming back up. You may find that as you do this, your feet start to lift up from the mat. That's a good indication that you're going a little bit too far and you need to decrease your range of motion. As you progress, you can begin to increase your range of motion until the point that you're rolling all the way down flat on your back, at which point you can start to add in the roll-up exercise. And when you get stuck, just hold behind the legs and pull yourself up with the aid of your arms. This isn't cheating, it's there to help you and teach you the movement. Once you're able to do the roll back in its full range of motion, you can progress to doing the roll up from the top down. With straight arms, straight legs, chin to the chest, pull your stomach back, and you're just going to start to round your low back in space just until the point that you feel your abdominal muscles being challenged, and then you'll come back up. This is probably a smaller range of motion than you might think it is, but that's where the real work is. Go until the point that the stomach is working, but you can still maintain and hold this position if you needed to. Once you've progressed to the point that you can come all the way down to the mat, we're going to now come in from the bottom up, chin to the chest, and just roll up to the point that you're able to and roll back down. This is very similar actually to getting into your 100 position. If you get stuck, you can bend the knees, gently use the arms to pull yourself up from the legs, and then come back into the straight arm, straight leg position. And progress through the exercise in this manner. Chin to the chest, soften and bend the legs, pull yourself up, extend and reach the arms, keep the stomach pulled in the whole time, and rolling all the way back down with control. I'm going to go through this variation a couple more times. Please feel free to grab a mat and work out alongside me and practice this breakdown and see what your natural range of motion is. Keep in mind, the real goal here is working the core and the abs. Everything else is secondary in there to aid in that goal. Ideally, the feet stay perfectly still, but if they get light and start to lift up a little bit, that's totally fine. Just imagine them getting heavy and grounding you. Alright, so next is the arm position. Pull the shoulders back in space to broaden the chest and keeping them grounded into the floor. You're going to reach up and over the head towards the ears. And then you're going to come back up to that neutral starting position. You're going to lift the chin to the chest with the goal of trying to get the ears between the arms and trying to keep the ears between the arms. You're going to slowly roll up and over, keeping the arms parallel with the legs and floor. Maintaining that parallel shape, you're going to roll back down. I find that mental imagery of trying to keep the ears between the arms the whole time, even if that's not what's actually happening, just trying to imagine that imagery is powerful and helps aid in keeping a nice proper form. And what that really means is a stomach that's engaged and a spine that's long. Keep those arms lifted in a nice parallel position. Keep the shoulders relaxed and yearning back in space towards your tailbone. Pull the stomach in, and one vertebrae at a time, peel all the way back down on the floor, brawn the chest, and reach up and over. Another helpful modification can be taking your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart to give you a wider base to push from. If you have access to one, a magic circle can also aid in this exercise. By giving a gentle squeeze to the magic circle, it helps engage the abdominal muscles and give you something to really push and pull into. Keeping and maintaining a nice even squeeze throughout the entire exercise up and down is going to give you a deeper connection to the work. Another great variation is pulling the magic circle apart with both hands in between it. Working in just the same manner, keeping a consistent pulling apart feeling to deepen your connection to the body and to the movement. There are a lot of great variations and modifications here, and I suggest experimenting with a few to find the one that helps you the most. If you're at the point that you're looking for even more of a challenge in the exercise, try the variation of squeezing the magic circle between the ankles. This is going to help you keep the legs a little more grounded and just give you a different quality to push and pull against. The arms and the stomach aren't going to have quite as much support, but it's going to really help get the lower half of the powerhouse engaged in a way that can sometimes be difficult. I'm maintaining even pressure on squeezing the magic circle, and even though I got momentarily stuck in a position, I took my time, I recommitted to using the powerhouse and working through the movement. This variation is pulling the circle apart. This is a great variation to get the hip abductors working and involved in the exercise. Once you've gotten to the point that you feel comfortable being able to use your abdominal muscles, the next goal is how can you turn this into a full body exercise, getting each and every part of the body to contribute equally and evenly to accomplishing the movement. And one last tip for this exercise. This is something I see even in my most advanced clients, is when reaching with the arms up over the head, we really go for the gusto and try and touch the floor behind us. But what that does is it lifts our low back up and off the floor. So keep your stomach pulled in, reach up only as far back as you can keep that stomach engagement in the low back connected to the floor, and roll up from there. Bigger range of motion is not always better. Quality over quantity. Thank you so much. I hope you had some of your questions about this exercise answered. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more Pilates content. I'll see you next time on the mat.